Welcome to the Cult Classic Horror Show. Every week, you can have the conversations you've always wanted to have about the films you love.
Shut up!
We're gonna get you. Not another peep.
Get rid of your distractions and prepare yourself.
Then lock your door. 5, 6, crucifix.
You got a big surprise coming to you. You're not going anywhere.
Welcome to the Cult Classic Horror Show. Danny Bonin here with you.
And Scotty Bonin here with you guys.
We are the Blood Brothers. Yeah, it worked okay. We're not in the same room today. We have
usually in the same room.
Yeah, we have a special guest, Jimmy Dempster, on the line. Talking about a lot of things, but mainly talking about his new short film. Is it new, Jimmy?
Oh yeah. It's been available now for about 5 months.
Awesome. Oh, nice. So pretty new still. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, man. We always like to catch up with a fellow horror fan, a fellow film producer, actor / genreist.
Yes, definitely.
However you want to say it. Now I just got done watching this thing about an hour ago, and I know Scotty just watched it. And
yep, I did.
And yeah, so we'll sort of delve into the short film first, and then we can talk. I know you got some other projects coming up, and have done some pretty cool projects in the past. Actually, you know what? Before we jump right into the short film, let's just talk a little bit about some of the things you've done, so that everyone listening, isn't like, who the fuck's this guy, and why does it even matter?
Yeah, here we go.
So, I mean, before I say anything, Jimmy, why don't you just give a little intro, whatever you think sticks out in your career and what you want to talk about. Go ahead and let us know.
Yeah, man. Well, basically, we moved to Florida in 2009. And it was around 2012, a buddy of mine told me about this film that they were shooting in Sanford called Rockabilly Zombie Weekend.
Nice.
At first I thought it was like a convention, right? Because it sounds like one of those horror conventions. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll check it out. I mean, I dig conventions, And he goes, no, it's a film. They're looking for like extras and stuff like that. And I had no prior experience at all going into that. I had no aspirations of like being an actor or anything like that, or being on set. And so long story short, I went out there, and the first thing they did was they gave me some sides, which at the time I had no idea what sides were.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
part of the script that you got to read when you're auditioning.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, okay. And the guy comes in, he goes, oh yeah, they're going to bring you in this room and they're going to read you now. They want you to read for this guy. And they gave me like 3 or 4 parts. And so looking back, I probably gave what was probably one of the worst auditions of all time. I'd like to actually see that video. Actually, maybe not. I'd like to bury that video probably if I could see it. But that led to they got about 2 weeks went by and I forgot about it. And I got a call out of the blue one day from production, and they said, hey, we'd like to have you come in and work on the film if you want. It'd be like a rockabilly extra, and then maybe a zombie after that. And I went down there for that, and I guess I looked the part. I was clean shaven at the time, had the leather jacket, and basically just did that. And that gave me the opportunity to really, really kind of dig what I wanted to do after that, because even though I was just kind of hanging around, but I was on set and I was looking at the principal actors and I was like, man, this is really cool. I want to do what they're doing. I want to have lines. I want to be a character. I want to tell a story. And I got the bug, man. I got bit from that night on, for sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's great.
Obviously, you've done a lot since then. What was your next step after that? Were you like, oh, hey, I'm just going to look for as many opportunities as I can now? Or did you then, start some formal acting training and keep your eyes open,
Yeah. Right after that, I met a couple people on set because, one of the cool things about acting and stuff like that is you meet so many like-minded people that are in the same boat or they have the same interests. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I met this dude, this guy Danny, and he told me about Full Sail University. And he goes, every Saturday they have auditions there for the student films. And, they don't pay a lot, but, you'll get really good experience and you'll work with a professional crew. A lot of them are students and this is what they want to do when they graduate. So all the ins and outs and, you'll get some really good footage. And you could use that to put together to go pursue. If you choose to do this full time, you'll have some really good footage that you could put together and go find an agent and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. So I went for it. No training or anything like that. I just went on a couple of auditions during the day because Full Sail was really cool because all day on Saturday and I think sometimes on Sunday, you could walk in there at 9 a.m. and you can literally audition all day. Walk into one room, walk out. They had 50, 60 student films going on in a day. So you could just go in and read for a bunch of stuff, and you more than likely get a callback or cast for something,
Yeah.
And I did a couple of those. I did a film called Case 0912. That was my first short that I did. That was a nice kind of character piece. It was really a combination of a Twilight Zone episode where it was half white and then half color, and it switched back and forth. It was really, really cool. That was my first project. I played a detective. And then in the end, the reveal, and I play the doctor. I got a lot of experience working on that set too.
That's
Nice.
awesome. It looks like you've done bit parts on Walking Dead, Fate to the Furious. Are those some walk-on background stuff you've done, or how was that?
Yeah, when we first moved to Georgia, we lived on the other side of Norcross. And right next to the apartment complex, literally right across the street, is a soundstage where they shot.
Oh my God!
That's where they shoot the Avengers. They shoot. At the time, they were shooting Fast and the Fate of the Furious.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is great, So I got a call, and when they told me where the address was, I was like, oh, this is perfect. So
Right across the street. You're like, I can just walk there.
yeah, I was like, yeah. Do you think you can make it? I says, yeah, I think I can make it.
Yeah, I can make it. That's cool. That's awesome. So you're currently located in Atlanta or Georgia area?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Nice.
do you have an agent down there now that you use?
Yeah, I have an agent here now. I signed with her about, actually I re-signed. We moved here in, I want to say 2016, 2017. And I had an agency at the time. And then about 4 months after we relocated here with them, I had some good success coming from Florida to here I hit a couple of co-star and principal roles on some TV shows with them. Had a really good relationship. And then a few months after we moved here and relocated here, they fizzled and they split and they went their kind of separate ways type of thing.
Wow,
And
jeez.
that left me in the middle. They said, well, yeah, you can stay and we really like you, but just to let you know, we're going to focus more on modeling and stuff like that. And I was like, that's not me,
Yeah. Nope. Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I'm not a model kind of guy, So I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. Hell no. Yeah.
And a little over a year went by where I wasn't signed with anybody. So for the better half of 2017, 2018, I wasn't signed with anybody. I was just doing freelance stuff and just getting by on reaching out and hitting up some, open casting calls and having people reach out to, see if they can give me a day or two here and there. Like people have seen some of my work. It's cool. It's like the more you do, the more you get to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After a while, certain things start working for you, and people just kind of call you up and they say, "Hey, I got this project. You interested?"
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah. God. So what? I guess let's sort of before we get into the short film, what do you have a big history with horror? Is horror your favorite genre? Did you get into it as a kid? What's your story with horror in specific?
Yeah, man. I was born in the late 70s, so I'm a kid of the 80s.
Nice.
So the home video boom, like the mom and pop video stores and all that stuff was like my home, man. That was my church.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah. Yeah. That's all. What's your favorite 80s horror movie?
Oh God, is there such thing? I don't
Yeah,
have
really.
I know there's so many great ones. Of course,
It's
we
true.
we like cover all those classics, from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I think 80s is my favorite, but it's so hard to name one. It's just there's so many great ones.
Yeah.
It seemed every weekend, every Friday, Saturday night, man. Me and my friends would be down there, pizza, a couple pizzas, and a couple liters of Coke, and just.
Oh yeah.
My thing was walking up and down the aisles looking for the craziest cover art I could find.
Yeah,
I think that's
exactly.
what we all did. I think.
Yep. I'm gonna rent that one right there. Yes.
Yeah, I have to see this. I had the fucking Evil Dead, had the hand coming out of the ground, grabbing the chick. I was like, I have to see this.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
We're really big Evil Dead guys.
Everyone who listens to this show knows that Evil Dead would be my number one favorite franchise ever made.
Yeah.
But yes. Yeah, man. So then, this short film Box. I mean, how did this come to pass? Was this another thing where it was guys that you knew already who were putting it together, or did you meet all new people on this shoot?
Yeah, going back to leaving Florida for here, was it 2016, whatever it was, the end of 2016? It was just basically a couple of guys, me, my buddy Brant, and my buddy Lee, who actually did a short film with before this, going back to that, and we kind of built that relationship, became really good friends. It was one of those things where we had just got done doing a film where there was a lot of overseas money put in and a studio was involved, and there was a lot of trappings with that, and it was kind of a pain in the ass. You deal with a lot of stuff sometimes with that. And we just said, hey, look, I'm getting ready to move to Georgia. My buddy Lee was getting ready to move overseas to Thailand, and my buddy Brant was getting ready to move. I forget where he was heading out at the time. But we were all kind of going our separate ways in a way.
Yeah.
And we said, why don't we just get together and we'll just do this one last thing kind of before we go. And we wanted to pull from all of our favorite genres as best as we could.
Mm-hmm.
To pull some, obviously, horror, psychological horror. We want to do maybe kind of like a little bit of a character study, throw that in, art house, drama. Like we wanted to do something that relied on like atmosphere and tension as opposed to like boo and jump scares,
Yeah.
Sure.
Wanted to do something that's like if you pay attention and if you really look, you can find little hidden meanings, and some of them are pretty obvious, and some of them are a little like multiple. It can be interpreted multiple ways.
Mm. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And actually, we were talking about covers. The cover of Box. If I saw that, I would be like, I'm going to rent that right now. So I just love the cover of you dragging the body.
Yeah, it's so simple. It's so simple. That was basically that's what started the whole brainchild. They're like, just do something kind of basic and kind of like a throwback to original atmospheric kind of horror, and like make people think a little bit.
So how fast? Well, I was going to say, once the process got flowing, or once you guys were like, hey, let's do something together, how fast was it written then? Is that the time when you then had to start writing, or whoever, the writer had to start writing it?
Yeah, we were actually, simultaneous to that, we were all involved in other projects as well. So we originally wanted to do a feature-length version, and we wrote it as bigger. There was some more stuff involved. We shot actually probably a good maybe 45 minutes to an hour's worth of footage. And then, money and time and other commitments and stuff like that get involved. And a year or so goes by, and like, I didn't want to rush anything. I wanted to really take our time on this.
Yeah.
So we all just basically agreed to say, hey, listen, why don't we just kind of really cut together, bring it down to its essentials, and we can put together a really, really rad short, and we can put it out on the festival and just see what happens. I'd rather have a short that's kind of goes through and takes its time and it's hopefully not boring as opposed to making a feature. You know what I mean? You see a lot of projects that are like maybe half hour or an hour too long. Yeah. You know what I mean? I didn't want to do that with this. We wanted to really just kind of 28 minutes, 30 minutes or something like that. We thought was right around the right amount of time for what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I definitely agree with that. Yeah, it's definitely gripping right there, and it's like it made me want more after it, so I could see taking it to like a festival and like, hey, all right, let's do a full length now. So
that was exactly what we had in mind. I'd rather have that. I'd rather have people say, man, what's next? Because that's what you want. You don't want people to go, man. I want 20 minutes wrong, dude? You lost me 5 minutes in or whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Was this sort of like between the three of you guys self-funded then, or did you have someone else come in and bring some funds to it?
No, it was just all the three of us.
Okay, that's
Nice.
awesome. Just pitching in wherever you could, here and there.
Yeah, we didn't want to. We just, like I said, it was one of those things where we were just kind of fed up with all the outside influence on everything else. It was like, let's just do something us. You know what I mean? This way, we own it, we control it, we can shoot it when we want to.
Yeah.
We can. Yeah, so that was basically how that came about.
How did this story like come to be? Who thought of it? Like, what was it a seedling of an idea from a different project or something?
It was actually a combination of all three of us. It was they basically, we kind of would start shooting based on an idea, and then it just kind of snowballed. I had an overall outline, and I think Lee did as well. I would give him ideas, and then he would give me ideas, and I would say, yeah, that's perfect. We can do that with this. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. And I said, oh, wait, why don't we try this? And why don't we do that? And I'd say probably within a couple of weeks, we came up with what we wanted to shoot.
Wow, that's great.
That's really cool.
How long did it? I mean, I know you said you got a lot more footage than you ended up using. How long were you guys actually, physically doing principal photography for? How long were you shooting for?
Hang on one second, guys.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah. Those of you guys listening, Box, it's on YouTube actually, and we'll link it in the description here on the episode. But just so you know what we're talking about, awesome little psychological thriller short film that leaves you with some questioning going on. So,
yes, it does.
Yeah.
And obviously, Jimmy Dempster is the star of Box. He's the man.
Pretty much the only man in it. I mean, a couple other parts, but so how long did it take to film, and then how was that? Sort of being sole focused the entire time.
Yeah, it was cool, man. I'd say from beginning to end, in between like weekends here and weekends there, and maybe sometimes during the week as well. Altogether, I'd say probably a little over a month, maybe a month and a half.
Okay.
Nice.
Filming and then locations and then going around. I mean, there's not too many locations, obviously, in the movie, so it was really, that part was pretty easy to do.
Well, it looks good, and so I don't know if you guys didn't end up spending much money. Does one of you have all the necessary equipment, the lighting, the cameras? I mean, because it looked good.
Yeah, we pulled some smoke and mirrors, man. Literally,
it was really cool. Yeah, I mean, literally, there was smoke. We had rain. You had like the weary, kind of blurred vision from like the lens. It really like entranced me in it. Felt like I was there.
Well, just from a technical standpoint, it all matched. I mean, it looked like you had like some color correction and just decent looking film. You don't always see that a lot of times, especially if it's just a few guys putting something together.
Yeah, and that was another big thing for me too, man. I didn't want to I knew I was working with the right people. Lee, I've worked with him several times, and he's a genius of being able to pull something out of nothing. We did a couple things together beforehand. I did a thing with him called Punisher Outbreak back when I started, like 2012, and it was just basically this thing. He said, yeah, so Punisher meets zombies, because at the time Walking Dead had just started, and it was like it wasn't beaten into the ground kind of like it is now.
Yeah.
It was, zombies were still kind of new and fresh at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, Punisher and zombies, and I was like, I'm sold. I was like,
heck yeah, sounds great to me.
I saw that. I saw that on your IMDb. There was that a feature length thing that you guys did, or was that a short?
No, that was just a short. Like, it's really short. It's basically it's kind of like, I guess you can call it like a mock trailer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
About 3 minutes, and it comes off as a trailer.
Okay.
We just shot a bunch of crazy stuff, and I think I'll shoot it over to you guys later, like a link. You can check it out.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
yeah, we made that for nothing out in Florida, and he had his 5D camera, and he's really good at stuff like that, man. And Brant, I knew I was in good hands with him too. I've worked with him before briefly before this, and that's how I met him. And I've worked with him since as well. And I knew I was in good hands with him because he's really good with the camera. He comes up with some really good shots, and he's just knows what he's doing. So I was like, yeah.
Wow, that's great.
If I had people to work for any time, for any amount of money, it would be them too.
Wow.
And Brant's the one that shot this too, right?
Yeah, Brant was the DP, shot everything.
It's awesome. He has some really good angles and really good camera shots for sure.
Who put together the score on this? Because that's what I was sort of impressed with.
The score, the sound was amazing on this.
Yeah,
that's what gripped me in.
Yeah, Lee came up with all that.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I liked it.
Yeah, and it almost takes over. Like without a good score, it's sometimes hard to get into any movie. And with this short, it was just right away. You just feel that deepening sounds and bass, and it really pulls you in. So that's what was awesome. And then I loved like your voiceover talking about yourself, like the man talking about himself and telling him, no, you have to do this, you have to do that. That was a really cool aspect to it too.
Yeah. I wasn't actually honestly too sure about that in the beginning because that was added in later.
Okay. Yeah.
We had the film, we had everything ready, and then one night Lee brought it over. He's like, yeah, so we're going to do some voiceover. I'm going to place it in certain spots. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. And I was like, yeah, all right. Do you want me to do the voiceover? And he was like, yeah, that'd be cool. So I just did the voiceover, and we just came up with these like sayings and these lines. A lot of it was improv.
Nice.
I was thinking about what we shot, and I was like, okay, we'll probably place this here. And looking at it, I think it actually kind of works.
Yeah.
A lot of times voiceover can be too much. It's like you don't want to beat people over the head. Let them kind of figure it out for themselves. But
yeah,
it kind of worked. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, there was. Or go ahead, Scotty. Go ahead.
Did you originally, instead of the voiceover, did you like talk more during it, or was it just kind of like you doing things and the audience seeing you do it without much talking?
Yeah, originally there wasn't really a lot of dialogue written.
Okay.
The end scene in the bathroom with the mirror, like kind of, I guess, the reveal.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that seems to be the scene that everybody talks about and I get the most compliments on. That's the one that people talk about at the film festivals when you come out of the room and they go, man, like full joke.
It was reminiscent of the Joker, obviously because you had clown makeup on, but yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah, that scene was great. Then you see those split personality there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. That was one of those things that I don't often get to do stuff like that. A lot of times I'll get called up and it's like they need somebody to be the crazy backwoods redneck or the killer or a bouncer. I've done that. Those are the roles I get a lot of. And I love doing stuff like that. But if I wanted to do something that's a little more dramatic and rely on emotions and reactions and stuff like that, I'm not always going to get casted like that. And I'm not always going to get the opportunity to read for stuff like that. So I figured, fuck it, we'll just do it ourselves.
Yeah. Well, and that's
fresh air. Yeah.
And was awesome. That, being slightly out of your comfort zone, was that a tough scene to do? Did it take a few takes? Were you like, fuck, this sucks?
No, that was actually improv.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So you really got into it. It felt, it was like real then.
He just said, well, we're going to shoot this scene and just basically just cut loose. And I just took a minute, got into it, and then we did a couple takes and did a bunch of different stuff, and I just kind of let go. And it was cool, man. It's really good when you get a chance to do that. A lot of times things are like, if it's not how it is on the page, then they don't want any other way. It all depends on who you're working with, but.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It came out great.
I gotta say, the sequence I sort of loved, it just sort of all hit for me with the music and the cinematography and the feeling and even the acting was when sort of the thing you're around in the kitchen like against the wall and you're like peeking, and it's when the box, the first time the body gets pulled into the box, and you're like peeking around the corner and you see someone coming out of reaching out, and you're scared, and so you jump back around the corner, you peek out around the corner again, and so just that whole sequence combined with the music there, I don't know, for some reason that was like my favorite part of the whole film.
That was freaky. Yeah.
That was definitely obviously inspired by a lot of those, like there's a scene, I'm not really crazy about the film, but there's a scene more recently in Annabelle, I think it was one of the Annabelles.
Sure.
Where they're in the elevator and the elevator's closing and then it opens again. Yeah. And then there's nothing there, and then it closes again, and then it opens, and it's flickering lights, and then I think it closes and opens again, and then there's like a boom. That was a big influence. I was like, I'd like to try something like that in this. If we could do something like that doesn't come off hokey, and like I didn't want CGI thing flying at the screen or anything like that. You know,
Sure.
That was definitely a big influence. Like tension, you know.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
You know, kind of go back to those old school basic filmmaking.
Yeah. Everything in this was just practical effects. I mean, there was no digital CGI or any of that, right?
Yeah, no, nothing
Nice.
like that.
That's awesome.
No, the tension was good there. And it was also good when you took so long to insert the key and unlock the box too. You know, that one I'm like, the tension build there was really good. So.
Oh yeah, it's always a good one.
Yeah.
The first jump when the box screams at me or whatever it is there.
Yeah. Yep.
Flying into the couch. That's always a fun one to see at film festivals.
yeah.
So
oh shit.
how much? I mean, you talked about, like I just said, my favorite sequence, and you said that you wanted something like that in there. How much say did all three of you collectively have for like how these were shot and filmed, like the cinematography? You know, did you have a lot of input on that?
Yeah, like I said, man, it was really cool having that kind of freelance kind of vibe. You know, you can. I mean, like I said, I trusted Lee and I trusted Brant because they have really good eyes and they have really good. When they were setting up shots, I'm like, yeah, okay, I could feel that. I get the vibe, and I don't like to try to step in too much. I mean, it's just me as an actor. You know, any actor will tell you we show up and we do the job as best we can. We're not ones to stop and say, hey, well, how about if we move the camera this way?
Yeah.
and see what I have here. It's like, you know,
Certainly.
a lot of us are, a lot of actors are good minded like that, and they could see good shots and they get it. But I mean, that's their job.
Yeah,
I'll let them
sure.
set it. Just do it the best I can.
Well,
Yeah.
You know.
you talked
trust
about
that.
you talked about reactions at film festivals. How was that run? I mean, did you go to a lot of film festivals yourself, and then how was the reception? And then did you do any kind of like Q&As or anything like that there?
Yeah. At first, we started doing the Film Freeway? Started just some. Once it was finished, I think early January last year, it was ready to go, and then it was basically up to me to kind of take it where it needs to be. And I took control after that, and I just started submitting to all the festivals I could find. And funny, like still being fairly new to it, a lot of times people would respond back to me as they say, "Okay, director Jimmy Dempster." Like, well, no, I'm not the director. I'm the star or whatever you want to, the actor in the film.
Yeah.
Co-producer, I guess, would make sense too. But very rarely, I guess, is it that actors take control of projects and send it out. Usually, it's like the director doing all that. And
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So they so they naturally assume that it's just the director doing it. Like, nope, I'm one of the actors.
I started on Freeway page and all that stuff, and just submitted it to everything I could find. Did some online to get started, and then I started going to them once if they were nearby. I've been to New York. Actually, it's playing. You guys are familiar with Scaricon?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually playing tomorrow at their.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
Okay.
So it's like, even though it's available on the website, on the Kings of Horror channel, the network there.
Yeah,
it's still like every once in a while is still doing these festivals and still does the conventions and stuff like that. So
that's great. I know you said it has won some awards. I mean, do you feel that like you've got something other than some personal satisfaction and the reactions of the crowd, but do you feel like it has helped you move on to like something else? Like, do you think you've made some cool contacts through it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I mean, not only the fans go to the film festivals, but a lot of times it's a good chance to meet other actors and filmmakers. And I'm actually involved in a couple of projects right now that are in the early rumblings, early stages, based off of my performance, I guess, from that film. Say, hey, I was in Los Angeles Film Fest and I saw your movie, or I was at the Orlando this and I saw your movie, and I was like, oh, cool, man. That's all I could hope for.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hopefully good. Hopefully people enjoy it, which the overall response, I mean, I couldn't be happier with, for something the three of us believed in and just kind of wanted to do before we kind of, the Ocean's 8 ending.
Yeah.
The Ocean's 11. Just kind of go our separate ways. Yeah.
So this is your first film that you guys have done yourselves, right? Other than this, everything up to this has just been you and acting in other things, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah, yep.
Okay. So maybe this will spawn another film that you guys might do. After this.
Any more plans to
any more plans to do something of your own? Yeah.
What, the three of us?
Well, or even you? Or do you have
just you by
aspirations
yourself.
to produce more films? Create films.
Oh yeah, that's always on the table. I never let. I'm always open for new opportunities, no matter what they are.
Yeah,
I would definitely like to direct something for sure.
Yeah.
I'm having too much. I'm having too much fun with the camera now, man.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Well, speaking of future projects, what I know you got, you wanted to talk about a few things you got coming up here. So yeah, let's. What do you have coming up?
Oh wow.
I see a lot that you have in pre-production. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a film that we just wrapped over the summer, and I just talked to the director last night, and he told me that they just finished the score, and they're having a screening in LA. I think sometime in the next few weeks, called The Fury, which was originally Fury of the Dragon, but they switched names for obvious reasons. I think that was like a Bruce Lee film or something like that. So
Oh, nice.
I had to switch that up. But The Fury, it's not a horror film, but there's some elements in there, my character especially, that I play that definitely fit in the horror genre. And it's kind of like a throwback to the 70s, 80s gritty crime thrillers.
Okay.
Like a Death Wish kind of type thing.
Yeah.
A lot of this, you don't really see a lot of that anymore.
No. That's
Really
nice. Was that something? You probably wrapped on it a little while ago. Is that besides a screening? Do you know if that's coming out, like being distributed anywhere that we can? Probably streaming services and everything.
Yeah, they're probably looking to get like a short theatrical run wherever it's going to be. But there's a really good cast involved in there. Lilo Brancato from A Bronx Tale's in there. He's the lead.
Nice.
Wade Williams, he's a really good guy. Donna Marie, she's been in films with Robert De Niro. So there's like an amazing cast involved. So it's definitely going to make its rounds, and it'll be available somewhere soon for sure.
That's great.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm actually looking at it now. It looks really nice. It looks really, definitely interesting. Want to see it already.
You were talking about Killer Babes too, right? With Linnea Quigley, and what? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was another one of those projects where, like I talked about earlier, you meet filmmakers and you talk with people. And Brett Mullen is just one of those guys that, ever since I saw Bombshell Bloodbath, I knew that I wanted to work with, because he has that Fulci kind of 70s, 80s giallo kind of style to his films.
Sure.
Yeah. Like a lot of directors have actors that they want to work with, and a lot of actors secretly have directors they want to work with too. And he was definitely on the list.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And yeah, we just kind of reached out, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm doing this project," and I said, "Yeah, I'd like to read," and he gave me 2 roles to read for that he had in mind, and I ultimately ended up with the role of Vincent, which I can't wait. It's going to be friggin' hilarious.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So you basically just reached out to the guy and said, "Hey, like, what do you got going? Let me read."
Well, I saw that he was promoting the film and he was advertising it, and I saw they had an open call, and I just basically reached out to him, and it was, we hooked up a couple years back. We was just social media talking back and forth.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be, you saw the cast on that. That's like a convention in its own right there. It's like a who's who genre.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Cool. Yeah, we'll keep our eyes open for that one too. A couple big projects there. Do you have anything else on the horizon you wanted to mention?
Yeah, there's a film coming out called Dark Roads. It's like kind of like a slasher, rock and roll slasher kind of film. I have a small part in that with Bill Moseley's in there as well.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's I think that got picked up for distribution. That'll be available probably early next year. I think they're going to do the VOD stuff like that. I'm not sure about DVD or Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Just yet. I know they're going to do the video on demand and stuff like that, and maybe DVD, Blu-ray. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Damn, we'll have to keep up with all of these.
And what's that one called again?
Dark Road, 79.
Dark Road. Okay, nice. Nice. We'll have to check that out for sure.
Takes place in the late 70s, 79.
Hey, nice. That's our era. That's what we love.
Yeah, that was cool. I had a good time on that one too. I got to work with Tyler Maine's daughter.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome. So these last 3 films that we're just talking about, do you shoot them? Do you fly to LA and shoot them, or are they filmed in Georgia, or do you usually just whatever? Like, I'll just get there. I will be there.
No matter where it is, it's like wherever it is, I could be there. Fly, drive, whatever it is.
That's so cool.
However you got to get there, but
yeah.
Killer Babes, I got to fly in to shoot that, and Dark Road's actually shot here in Tiger, Georgia.
Oh, cool.
So that was like a 2.5 hour drive or so for that. So that wasn't that big a deal. And then the 2 TV shows I just shot were shot here too. I just did 2 crime documentary shows. Your Worst Nightmare, which was really rad because I got to work with Rob Schmidt, who directed Wrong Turn, the original Wrong Turn.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So I was like, sold.
Yep, I'm in. Love Turn.
And then fitting, of course, with the theme of the show, Cult. I just wrapped the show last night. Actually, that's why I'm still kind of loopy. All this week, I've been shooting a show called Deadly Cults, which airs on the Oxygen Network. It's like a crime documentary show, one of those shows.
So are you doing like?
That is so cool.
Are you doing some like evil reenactments in that or something?
Yeah, I play a character named Gerald Cruz. I did some research on him. He was not a good guy.
Oh God.
Yeah, he was a bad dude.
Do you look like him?
Yeah, I saw the picture of it and I was like, yeah, okay, I could see that.
Yeah.
Mainly, it was the dark features in the hair. I think it was the fact that I have like longer hair kind of helps me stand out a little bit more from other actors, I guess.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You definitely have that really good look with long hair and the eyes. It really is, especially for a box too.
Yeah.
So
I see the villainous roles.
Oh yeah.
Every time I go to cut my hair or like shave or something like that, I get a call for something. It's like, no, we need you for like a psychotic biker on this episodic, or we need you for like this one. we want you to play this killer. I get a lot of from a guy who's like from the city originally. I get a lot of like South Side backwood redneck type roles.
Nice. Hey.
Yeah, why not? Take them.
All works, right? Yeah, that's awesome.
Hell yeah, man. Well, yeah, well, shit. I mean, I love Box. I got all my questions answered about it. If there's anything else you wanted to plug, feel free. But otherwise, yeah, we could, we'll wrap things up.
Yeah, you guys can check me out on imdb.com, obviously. Instagram, I know we're on there. I'm on there, Real James D. Just check me out anytime. I try to get on there a couple times a day as best I can, especially if I'm filming something. A lot of times I'll try to post from set if I can, without spoiling anything.
Sure.
Awesome.
Hit me up there anytime, anybody you want. Message me, whatever you want to do. Follow, like, share, all that good stuff.
Heck yeah. Well, you guys that are listening, check out the show description. We'll put up a link to Box in there on YouTube. You guys can check out the short film. Highly recommend you do. It's you heard us talking about it. It's awesome. The atmosphere is great. The music's great. The acting's good, and so it won't disappoint.
Yep. From the very first scene, it grips you right away and it draws you in. So definitely check it out, guys.
Jimmy, hey, thanks for joining us, man.
Anytime, man. I'm glad I was actually able to finally talk to you guys.
Yeah, Jimmy, this has been great, man. I'm definitely glad that we got the setup.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
Oh, yes. There will be blood.